Hey everybody, it's 𝗪𝗏𝗏. Welcome to the White Sox Podcast, coming to you from Peoria, Arizona. White Sox spring training, and yeah, big surprise here at camp with Colson Montgomery being sent down to AAA. He will not break camp with the team. He will begin the season at AAA Charlotte. So coming up, you're going to hear from Getz and Will Venable on the decision to send Colson Montgomery down to AAA. When might he be ready for the majors? And who will be the shortstop on opening day? Brooke Fletcher, our new White Sox sideline reporter, will join me to discuss. Also, I caught up with 𝗵𝗟 after his start against the White Sox here on Tuesday. Almost 1 year to the day of him getting traded from the White Sox to the Padres. It was great catching up with 𝗵𝗟. So it's 𝗵𝗟 and, Colson Montgomery sent down to the minors. That is coming up next. All right, here with Brooke Fletcher as we talk about the big surprising news. I mean, if you looked at his struggles and his limited play, I'm not surprised that Colson Montgomery is sent down to AAA, but it happened so quickly. Like here, he finally returns after being out for about 10 days, plays in a game, and boom, AAA.
When I just talked to him a couple days ago, and he was coming back from injury, but he told me, I didn't really feel the impact of being gone, although it was 10 games. He said, physically, I feel okay. Obviously, they were taking the proper, precautionary measures, making sure he was staying hydrated just to prevent back spasms, because we know that was a lingering thing for him. He had a history there, but he said, he felt at peace. He felt good because this was his job to lose coming in.
Yeah, and the White Sox didn't sign a veteran shortstop. They really were putting him in a position to succeed. But you go back to last season, AAA, was trying to find himself. He struggled. Yeah, he had a good Arizona Fall League, but that was the Arizona Fall League. This is spring training 2025. Opening day is about 16 days away, and they want to put Colson in the best position to succeed. And is the best position to succeed have him try to figure it out really quickly in the next 2 weeks, and then go to Chicago where, let's be honest, all of us in Chicago and the outlying areas, April is a tough month to hit. And if you're not hitting very well here, trying to figure it out and making your major league debut with all the spotlight on you, I think him going to AAA makes sense to me.
Yeah, we heard from Getz and earlier, and they were talking about how much they value Colson and the talent that he brings. But you have to be careful sometimes with these young stars, and we often forget how young Colson is, although he has been in the minors for some time now. But you don't want to rush them to the bigs too quickly, right? You don't want to mess with their confidence, and so you want to make sure that they are fundamentally sound, mentally sound, physically. So that was kind of what Chris was saying, is that listen, we're looking to the long term when it comes to Colson. We want to make sure he is ready when we do put him in the bigs.
All right, so let's hear from Getz. We'll hear from Will Venable as well. But first, here is the GM of the White Sox, Getz, talking about the surprising decision to send Colson down to the minors with 2 weeks left in camp.
Obviously, with the news with Colson, what was that conversation like, and how did he take the news?
Yeah, the conversation went well. Colson certainly listened to what we had to say, and he's a very mature kid, and he handled it like a pro. We explained to him how important he is to this organization and our future, the future of the White Sox, and through that, you make decisions like this in the best interest of Colson and certainly the Chicago White Sox. But most importantly, we want the front end of the year to be a one that goes out there and just really productive, lock in what he's working on. He had a hiccup in camp with health that made spring training maybe a little less smooth as he would have liked. However, I know he's working really hard. I was very impressed with his defense. He was great with the routine play. And now he's going to go down to minor league camp. Minor league camp is in full go. They're starting to play games. He can get consistent at bats. I look forward to watching the rest of spring play out for him. And I think we all know that he'll be in Chicago before we know it.
So now the question is, when will he come to the majors? No one really knows the answer. I think we've heard a couple of things.
Yeah.
What did Will say? He said
Will was saying midsummer, wanted him to get off to a fast start, a solid start at AAA, build that confidence a little bit, and midsummer, but then...
That's June or July.
That's June or July, but Chris is saying before you know it. So when is that? We'll see.
You know what? Here's the answer. You want to know when he's going to come up?
When?
When he shows the White Sox that he's ready.
Yeah.
Which could be April 20th, could be May 15th, could be June, July. I mean, who knows? I think it's there's clearly something that they want to see from Colson offensively and at shortstop, and they haven't been able to see the whole package yet, and that's why they don't want to have this go all the way till the end of camp and then make this decision, and it'll sound almost abruptly like, hey, I think they have to make the decision. All right, there's 2 weeks left in camp. You go to AAA, and then we got to turn the page, at least for the start of the season.
Yeah, and Colson did say, he was talking about like physically how he felt, but he did say like he wants to hone in on being mentally sound and also not making those routine plays, not making those mental mistakes out in the field. So those are little things that he's got to hone in on, and AAA is a great opportunity for him to really get those narrowed down.
All right, let's hear from Will Venable, his thoughts on Colson starting the year in AAA.
What ultimately led to the decision with Colson there?
I think Colson, he's an important part of this. I think an important part of our success and his success this year is to do everything we can to support him having a good start to the year. And so, we just felt that starting in AAA would give him the best opportunity to get off to a good start and then come help us in the middle of the summer.
It's probably too early to say, but what do you constitute a good start? Like, what will you be looking from him down there with Charlotte?
It's going to be to continue to do the things that he's been doing here. The professionalism, understanding his routine, what he needs to do defensively on the bases. At the plate, it's not going to be. We don't need to see slug and crazy offensive performance. He needs to control the zone, hit the pitches that he should be hitting, and just doing the things that he's been doing. He's been doing a great job, and just want him to continue to do that.
I guess I should ask: is there a time frame, or is that just take care of itself when you just see what he's doing?
It takes care of itself. It's where he's at. It's where we're at, and it'll be the right time. And this is as important kind of an onboarding to the big leagues as we might have, and we want to just handle it the right way.
How much did the time off that he had, he was gone for 10 days, or roughly, play into the decision about, maybe doesn't have enough runway to be ready for the regular season?
It was a speed bump, but I think ultimately, it remains the same, that to be able to get him the at-bats that he needs and the good start that we want him to have, that doing it in AAA is the best way to go about it.
You mentioned a couple of things there, but mostly what did stand out to you about Colson during his time up here in big league camp?
Just the way he moves, probably. He's just an elite mover. Just love the athlete, and he's just a good guy. I think that he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He's somebody that, he looks like a big leaguer. He walks like a big leaguer. He talks the talk, and you just get the sense that he's a really good player, and we expect him to be that.
All right, so Brooke, now the question is, who's going to be the shortstop on opening day? Now, there is 𝗙𝗵𝗶𝗹 𝗟𝗏. There is Jake Amaya. Josh Rojas is a possibility, but I think he's more of a second baseman and third baseman. He seems to be more penciled in, or maybe with a Sharpie at second. To me, I think the answer is going to be 𝗙𝗵𝗶𝗹 𝗟𝗏. That's the feeling that I get. And he's who they want in their lineup, a guy who sees pitches, lots of pitches, takes walks, is mechanically sound, and is defensively sound. He seems to be, on the surface, kind of short for shortstop, but he can play shortstop, and he seems like a solid stopgap for them coming out of spring training.
And I think his resume speaks for himself here. He spent most of his time last season in AAA, 437 on base percentage and 293 batting average. So, talk about him getting on base. This is a guy that knows how to work a count there. And, we saw him leading off, so that could be potentially, be interested to see if he is that starting shortstop, where he could be in this lineup in the bigs.
So in the spring so far, he's 2 for 16, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts, and it's funny, he's going to be on the podcast tomorrow, everybody. I got 𝗙𝗵𝗶𝗹 𝗟𝗏. I actually interviewed him 2 days ago, so I had no idea this was coming with Colson Montgomery, but
he seems like a grinder.
He's a grinder.
He's a workhorse.
He's been described as so Bobby Dahlbeck, who is here with the White Sox. He was in AAA with Chase last season, and he described him as a dirtbag, which is actually that is a compliment.
Yeah, that's
in
a good
baseball.
thing.
That is a compliment, and you're gonna hear a lot more from Chase on the podcast, which is coming out tomorrow. And you might be wondering, like, why didn't the White Sox sign a veteran shortstop so we would have someone here? Well, I just want to throw this scenario at you. If they signed a veteran shortstop to be here, okay, so then what happes with Colson?
Yeah.
They were hoping Colson would be the guy. And if Colson was the guy, then you have this veteran shortstop. What are you doing with him? Are you trading him? I don't know, but you have to sign him. Maybe you sign someone to a minor league deal. Maybe that could have been a solution. But the other part of it is this. Are the White Sox trying to win a World Series this year?
No.
They're not. They're trying to get these guys ready for when they're ready to win. And the way you do that, if it was me and I'm not a general manager, I'd be like, sign this guy, sign that guy. Let's have a better season, get the best players in here. But their plan is, we are in a rebuild. Let's bring in as many young guys as we can to see what we have. And then when they are ready to win, you can really start spending some more money because you'll know what you have and what you don't have.
Right, and they're not in any rush. And going back to Colson, it's like, you don't want to put him up to the bigs too soon here. You got a little bit of leeway here, but just to build their confidence. And you have guys like that are right on the cusp, right? They're not like in single A, double A. You do have some studs there, but like you have guys that are right on the border there that could be in the bigs at pretty soon.
All right, so it was yesterday. Now as you listen to this, it'll be 2 days ago, when someone from the White Sox said that 𝗰𝗶𝗹 is the talk of minor league camp. And you're like, who the heck is 𝗰𝗶𝗹? If you're a diehard Sox fan, you will know, or maybe know who he is, but the White Sox got him in the Tanner Banks trade to the Phillies before the deadline, and he was in high A last year, and he has been the talk of minor league camp. So if someone tells me this, I'm like, okay. And then I come to the game. They were facing the A's. Later that day, he comes off the bench, 3 RBIs for 𝗰𝗶𝗹, and an RBI, I think it was an RBI double, an infield hit. Looked great. And then Colson Montgomery was in the lineup here on Tuesday. He goes down to minor league camp, and they just bring up 𝗰𝗶𝗹.
Yeah.
And he gets the start. His first at bat, he's facing 𝗵𝗶𝘀, a 2-run triple for 𝗰𝗶𝗹.
It made it look easy.
Made it look easy. And you like how he plays shortstop,
yeah.
too.
You could just tell by watching him, just the athleticism, making the hard plays look easy. I remember, we were watching the press box. I looked at Chuck. I was like, what? How did the Phillies miss out on this guy? Why would they let him go? And also you have to give him credit too. You mentioned he came off the bench, especially with somebody at his age being able to come off the bench and perform the way that he did, showing the mental maturity at that level. I mean, you're seeing the potential ceiling for a young star.
Oh, actually, they changed it. It's a 2-run double that he had against 𝗵𝗀. But he did make it to third base. I got to be accurate on that one, but he'll probably start the year in AA. So you're starting to see little moves the White Sox are making that could be a part of their future, and he is certainly one of them. Once upon a time, 𝗵𝗶𝘀 was not only part of the White Sox future, he was their present, and he unfortunately, for all of us who loved watching him pitch for the White Sox, is with the Padres, and as it turned out, he made his first start ever against the White Sox here in Peoria, and it happened to be a Cactus League game, and it was first time ever against them. It was almost a year to the day that he got traded, and he looks a little different these days. He's got a big old beard.
And you called him out for it.
I did call him out on it. Should we play my interview with 𝗵𝗶𝘀?
It was good. It was nice to catch up with an old friend, right?
Yeah, he's an old friend. Here's 𝗵𝗶𝘀. All right, 𝗵𝗶𝘀, first off, where's 𝗵𝗶𝘀? This beard, I'm trying to get it adjusted.
He's under here. Change it up every once in a while,
I like it. You're making it work. How does it feel?
It was good. I got it trimmed, I think a little too short lately, but it'll grow back. Long hair, long beard, why not?
Yeah, well, we're always growing. How are you growing as a pitcher now in San Diego?
Yeah, I'm growing well. I'm adding pitches. I'm, right now, obviously, spring training, I'm getting in shape, getting everything into form. So, just working my way.
Yeah. What was it like? First time facing the White Sox, obviously spring training, but you see that other uniform, and that's got to mean something.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's spring, so it would probably be different if it was, at guaranteed rate or at Petco or whatever. Just another game, really, to be honest.
How did it go out there for you? It's obviously second inning, 4 runs come in, but what was going on with you today?
Yeah, honestly, I'm fairly happy with it. The second inning wasn't great, but I just kind of needed to establish my heater more and be aggressive. And sometimes you just got to tip your cap. You know, they got hits off of me, but more importantly, I came back and I dominated the rest of the game, and that's really kind of just what spring's about, you know.
Yeah, you're not really diving into scouting reports, so you see this kid from the minor leagues come up, 𝗰𝗶𝗹 and gets a triple off of you.
Yeah, it's also you got to tip your cap, you know. I mean, they hit me, I can't complain, but you know, it is spring. There's different factors, you know, so that was a win-win for everyone. They get to feel good, I get to finish strong and feel good, so it's good.
Everyone's a winner today.
Actually, you know, I gave it 4 runs. I'm not really feeling great, but that's not what spring's about. Spring's about just working and getting your work in and developing and getting your body ready. And you know, it's obviously it's still about the competition, but it's about molding yourself too. And I'm definitely not mid-season yet, but I'm getting better every time out.
Yeah, I mean, the anniversary of the trade is Thursday.
Where are we getting dinner?
Oh, are we getting dinner?
Yeah, your treat.
I'm treating?
Yeah.
All right.
The anniversary.
I noticed Chick-fil-A down the road. No, I'll pay for dinner. I'll pay for dinner.
I'm thinking somewhere in Scottsdale.
Okay, you picked a place, I'll buy you dinner.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you came on my podcast like 5 times last year.
I did.
Yeah.
Anytime you ask.
And this is the thank you that I'm going to give to you. I will pay for your dinner.
Perfect.
Okay, this is working out for very much for you, and it was working out for me. And you know, you're here. You're spending time with me right now, a year later, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
one more question though, and it's about some of the pitchers that are still with the White Sox, and you know them.
Yeah.
Cannon, Burke, Martin. What do you see from these guys going forward?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I haven't really had any eyes on them, but they have good stuff. I got to see Burke pitched against us last year. His stuff looked really good. You know, they've definitely got a lot of promise.
Okay. Well,
Ethan Katz, he's going to develop them, so definitely a lot of promise over there.
I heard you're having dinner with Ethan Katz tonight.
I am. I know you're jealous, but you know, you can only squeeze in so many, Chuck.
You know what? I'm going to have a dinner with you, and I'm not going to feel jealous.
Yeah, true. As long as you guys are paying, I'll go to dinner whenever.
Okay, it's going to happen. 𝗃𝗀𝐶𝗃, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so I got to find a place to take 𝗃𝗀𝐶𝗃 out to dinner.
You better bring your wallet, because I have a feeling that Dylan likes nice dining and possibly a nice steak, Chuck.
Will he go for Shake Shack?
I highly doubt it.
Shake
no.
Shack, no McDonald's.
He looks very sophisticated. You know, he's
Yeah.
got that beard going on. This is a new 𝗃𝗀𝐶𝗃. No, he's going to make you take him somewhere in Scottsdale, somewhere real nice.
Okay, well, I'll make a reservation somewhere, and we'll see if it happens. He's a busy guy. I don't think we're going to have dinner. I think he might have just said that to be nice.
No, he wouldn't take the interview with you, Chuck, unless you guys went way back. He was excited to see you. I was there.
All right, Dylan, friend of the podcast, maybe I'll be having dinner with him while I'm here in Arizona. Brooke Fletcher back on the podcast.
Thanks for having
doing
me
this.
back on.
Yeah, anytime. And that is a wrap for this edition of the White Sox Podcast. Hawk Harrelson, take it away.
All right, Chuck, this edition of the White Sox Podcast is over.